Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time, wherever you are watching me from, I greet you. Thank you for being in the class. Without you, there will be no class. I am still your coach, Immandy'zstitches. My name is Immaculate. Today I'm going to show you how to cut peplum. I want to show you how to cut 720-degree peplum. Okay. In my previous class, on a request from one of our students that said she needed a simpler way to cut peplum, so I quickly did the class I did for her, because that's the method I use to do my peplum in a simpler way. But today I decided to do a full detail of it, okay, for everyone to benefit from. So in what I have here, you fold your paper in four, like this is what I have. This is two, this is another two, so it's in four. So what is this degree of peplum we usually talk about? Degree of peplum is just a round circle. Peplum is just a round circle, and every circle is 360, irrespective of how wide the circle is or how small the circle is. Okay, it's just 360. And when you are talking about 360 degrees, 720, 1080, 1440, it is just a duplicate of the 360 that you've cut already. So that is what we're doing. So from 360 we get 720. 720 is just a duplicate of 360 that we are going to do. It's just that it has a measurement that you can use to determine the circumference of your waist. All right. From the class I did before, I did a bustier cup with yoke, and I told you in the class I'm going to do a peplum that I'm going to use to attach to the peplum, which is what I'm doing here. So in that bustier cup measurement I used a 17 inches as my half length. Okay, as my half length. So this peplum is going to complete the full length of my top that I did previously. That's what I'm going to do now. So in what I'm doing, I am using waist circumference to be 32. Okay, that is 32. So 32, you divide it by how many circles you want to cut. By how many circles you want to cut, like I'm going to cut 720, which means 360 times 2. Okay, gives me 720. So if I want it in 3, it means 360 times 3, which will give me 1080. If I want it in 4, it means 360 times 4, which gives me 1440. Okay, so it all depends on how many 360 you want to get. How many of them you want to get is what you're going to use to divide it. And the standard measurement that you use to divide it is just 6.2. So what am I trying to explain? What I'm trying to explain is that when you want to divide 360, the way you want to cut a 720 degree, so what you're going to have is that whatever that is your waist circumference, okay, whatever that is your waist circumference, you divide your waist circumference by 2. Okay, when you divide it by 2, meaning you're cutting 720. When you divide it by 2, whatever it gives you, you also divide it by 6.28. So anything it gives you is what you're going to use to cut the waist circumference of your peplum. So you're going to cut it in 2 places. That will give you 720. So if it's going to be 1080, that means it's going to be in 3. So your waist circumference divided by 3. Okay, your waist circumference divided by 3. Oh God. So because I'm cutting the peplum in 2, so what I'm going to do is to divide my waist circumference as I'm cutting the peplum in 2. If I cut the peplum in 2, it means I'm forming 720 degrees. So I will divide my waist circumference by 2. Whatever it gives me, I will divide it as well by 6.28. Okay, so if I divide by waist circumference, which is 32, my allowance, I'm going to add it. For adding 2 inches allowance, which makes it 34. So altogether is 34. So 34 divided by 2, which whatever it gives me, I'm going to use it to divide by 6.28. Okay, so anything it gives me is what I'm going to use to go ahead and do my cutting. All right, so I've divided my waist circumference. I told my waist circumference is 32 plus 2 inches allowance I'm adding to it. Okay, you can add 4 inches allowance depending on what you're sewing. So I'm adding 2 inches allowance to just take it half inch, including the back. The back will be 1 inch, that is zip allowance side. Then the side I'm taking half inch to sew it. So 1 inch, sorry, to sew it. Then you can add 4 inches allowance, that is you take 1 inch by this other side, 1 inch by this other side. Then the remaining will be for your zip allowance for the back. So all together with what I have added, I have 34. 34 divided by 2 gives me 17. 17 divided by 6.28, that is the standard measurement I told you that you will use to divide your circle. So 6.28, if I divide by 6.28, is giving me 2.7. Okay, it's giving me 2.7. So in that 2.7 that is giving me, I'll go ahead and use it. Like I have folded this in 4. This is what I have. So afterwards, I'm going to measure it from this particular point here. You come down 2.7, 2.7, a little a bit bigger than 2.5. So you take it round like that. Okay, so we go ahead, connect it together. All right, that is what I have. This is my waist circumference for 1,360. My waist circumference for 1,360. Then I will go ahead and divide and measure my length that I want. So I'm taking away from it, I want the half length to be 17. I'm taking away from it 17 inches. The length of my peplum is 24. The 1 inch allowance I'm adding to turn it down half inch and to join the waist by half inch, making it 1. So I'm taking it 25 all round. So you go ahead and do it 25 round your circle. Okay, make sure you connect together. So this is what I have. Okay, this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. So cut the waist out. So what I have now is 360. This is what I have is 360. Okay, the open it. This is what the outcome will be, which is the same thing with what I did in my previous class that I used normal circle to draft out. So I have only one, and I told you we are doing 720. So I will go ahead and cut this same 360 in another because it's divided by 2. Okay, so you are going to fold the same paper the same way you folded the previous one. It's just you taking this first pattern you cut to trace it out again the same way. So with this you have it 720. You go ahead and cut the waist. So what I have now is 2. So these 2 peplums I have now is called 720 peplum. One of them is 360 peplum. But if you're to do only one 360 peplum, it means your waist circumference is what you're going to only use to divide by 6.28. You only use your waist circumference to divide by 6.28. But when you are cutting 720, it means this is in 2. You divide your waist circumference by 2. Whatever it gives you, you divide it by 6.28. If you're cutting it in 3, you divide your waist circumference by 3. Anything it gives you, divide it with 6.28. If you're cutting in 4, which is 1440 degree, you divide your waist circumference by 4. Whatever it gives you, you use it to divide with 6.28. The only difference is that it gets fuller as you are adding more peplum. It gets fuller. But if you're only making one circle, it's not going to be as full as when you add other peplum to it. So I'm going to go ahead to create an opening to it. I'll just go ahead and cut this to create opening. With this is what I have. Okay, with what I have now, this will give me my waist circumference, half of it. So I'm going to divide it. I have my waist circumference 32. 32 divided by 2 will give me 16. So you go ahead and check if what you cut is enough for what you divide. So I have 16. Remember, I added 2 inches allowance to it, making it 18. Okay, so this also will be the same thing. This one as well will be the same. Okay, this is the same thing. So with this, I'll go ahead and trace it from my to my fabric. If I trace on my fabric, cut my lining, paper stay my lining and my fabric to give it a standing effect. You paper stay both your lining and your fabric to help your material to stand. You can use any material to sew it. So this is what I have. By the time I cut it, you turn the lining down it. You understand? Close this other side, close this other side, and turn. Then you now create opening at the back for zip allowance if you want to put zip. But if you're just making only detachable peplum or a waistband peplum, you will just leave it like that and close all around. So please watch the video, like, comment, and give ask your question if you need any question. Please try as much as you can to do your assignment and submit to encourage others. Silent members, please be active. Be active, please, so that more video will be coming to us. Okay, thank you for watching and see you in our another class.